So I'm super excited for you guys to check out this episode with Jay Jackson. Jay's just an outstanding human being, and him and I have had multiple conversations outside of this episode. And he's a leader in every way, going back to his military background to how he leads and serves his team, his clients. You're just going to get so much value from this. And just a reminder, if you guys would like to be a part of my free Facebook community, head over to Facebook and just search for the Network Marketing Leads for Life group. It's a free community, almost 950 people in there now, where I share tips and trainings of how to generate leads for your network marketing business and tips every single day. And enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. I am your host, Scott Aaron, and each and every week I'm going to come to you with short, simple, and powerful tactics of how you can grow your network marketing business, brand, bank account, and impact on those around you. And just remember, network marketing is not easy, but it can be made easy with simple steps to create the success that you truly deserve. So Jay, welcome to today's episode, and just really excited about today's episode for a number of reasons. Number one, I love having guests come on my podcast from a platform where I practice what I preach. LinkedIn is, as you guys know that listen to this podcast, that is my business. That's what I do. And Jay and I actually connected on LinkedIn. We had a really, really great discovery call a few weeks back. And it led to this podcast interview that we're doing right now. And, I saw such eye to eye with everything that Jay does and how he shows up every single day and what he does for his clients. But with that being said, Jay, welcome to the program. Tell the audience a little bit about you and what you do, but more importantly, how you got into what you're doing now.
Gotcha. Well, first and foremost, man, I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to come on and add value and serve your community and your audience. So I'm super grateful for that. To be honest with you, my story, man, it's not super spectacular, but I think it'll definitely help some people and add value. So I'm originally from Alabama. I'm a military brat and also a military veteran. 15 years in the United States Air Force. Of course, been in multiple countries, been over to the sandbox in Baghdad, things like that. Shot some really cool guns. I've seen some really wild things that I never thought I would actually see in my life. But each experience, actually made me into who I am. And so the way I got into doing what I am doing right now, a lot of it really is, what I did while I was in the military. Whether systems development, process improvement, just helping organizations and businesses operate more efficiently, and of course, developing their teams so that they can improve their results. And results being, revenue, profit, the gasoline that makes a company go. And so I really just kind of, I guess the reluctant hero is what I would be considered, because I found myself, searching for answers and clues as to how to best market and sell, my own products and services once I got out of the military. And, I went to conference after conference, hired coaches, invested in different programs, read all the books, did all the things that the productivity gurus told me to do. And then I realized, there's some things that are still missing. And so I really just started to get laser focused on a couple of things. And that's, learning how to leverage the technology to capture leads, creating a sales funnel to move, our potential clients through that process. And then ultimately, of course, offer a tremendous amount of value on the front end so that they can see that we're the best solution for their problem. And that came from a place of frustration, right? So, as I'm trying to figure out how to build, connect the technology, set up social media ads, whatever the case may be, once I started to get some results after hiring, multiple so-called marketing agencies who said that they can help me get results, Once I started to get results on my own, I started to think like how many other, coaches, consultants, or service-based providers themselves are struggling to, actually get results. And so that's where it really came from. It comes from a place of, one, wanting to be able to take what I've learned and give back to people who I know, can benefit from the time and investments, financial investments that I've made into, my personal development, even the growth of my business. But everything we do, it really comes from a place of service because, our why is to demonstrate servant leadership so that we can transform the world through business. And so everything we do operates behind that why. And we just want to take what we have and give back to the community.
There's so much I want to dive into at that.
Okay.
But the first thing I want to dive into is something that you said very early on, and it was about your first few funnels.
Mhm.
And everyone's familiar with funnels. I believe that you absolutely should automate aspects of your business, but people have they have a misconception about funnels. They have a
Okay.
misconception. They think, oh, I'm gonna write these emails and take people through a sequence, and everyone's just gonna buy. And obviously, you and I both know that the open rate of each email gets less and less. So you have to develop a very systematic strategy of how to provide the utmost value in every one of those emails that's not only going to make them open it, but it's going to make them want to read the whole thing and then be excited for the next one. So let's talk about that, because that could be applied to anything in business, showing up every day on social media. How impactful has it been for your business from a value added aspect, um, in getting to where you are now, and where people are missing the mark with what they're doing?
Gotcha. Well, first, I'll start with the benefits of it, right? So, the benefits and the value that I've received from automation, the time, right? The time that I've been able to buy back, so to speak. Like, I don't have to worry about, following up in emails. I don't have to worry about, constantly contacting people via LinkedIn messages. Everything is pretty much on autopilot. So it gives me the time freedom to be able to, spend time with my family, go to dinner, and not have to, be up late nights, early mornings. So that's just number one. I would say the automated marketing process is so critical because you're able to get those touch points, right? So I'm able to touch you whether I'm asleep. If you're still up on a social media platform, I can still touch you. As you talked about, Scott, the email open rate. If you can get 20% of the people to open up your emails, you're doing good. And so understanding that, what we've been able to do is we basically leverage all social media platforms. And so I'll basically kind of, break down, our process, and I don't mind sharing this with your group. So basically what we do is of course, we have a software that we leverage on LinkedIn called Connected. And we basically have our landing pages embedded within those email sequences. And so we go out and we target, similar to Sales Navigator, where we'll go out, we'll target specific industries, specific niches, establish a connection relationship. But the most important thing is we want you to touch one of our landing pages. Because once you touch one of our landing pages, we have our Facebook pixel on those landing pages. And so now we've captured your data. And so once we have your data, you automatically enter into our retargeting sequence on Facebook and Instagram. At the end of each week, I have a virtual assistant who goes into our CRM software, which is Monday. And once you're inside of our CRM software, the virtual assistant will basically manage, your information. They will also then transfer you over to our email automation software, which is ConvertKit. And so you'll begin to fall into our email automated sequence. Of course, if you open up any of our emails, again, there's a link within it with the landing page, and we're collecting your data. And so what we basically do is we allow the technology to do our touches for us. And so as long as we stay top of mind through all of our retargeting ads, and I know oftentimes people will, there's some experts who will say, oh, well, your primary customer is, not on Facebook or not on Instagram. And I disagree with that. Everyone who has a LinkedIn account, I'm pretty confident that 98% of the people who are on LinkedIn have a Facebook account. And so the beauty of it all is, yes, we connected professionally on LinkedIn, but now when I retarget you on Facebook or Instagram, you get to see other aspects of myself, the business, and the brand that you can't normally see on LinkedIn. And so the key is, it's just touches. People are completely distracted. I literally had to turn off all notifications on all apps on my phone because, as you know, Scott, it's just constant ding, 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 ding. Well, if you have the email automation and the retargeting ads that are automatically marketing and selling your business for you 24 hours a day, 365, you don't have to, deal with the overwhelm of the constant touches and marketing of your business.
No, it's beautifully stated, and that's the whole thing. And I think the one thing that I took away from all that is clarity. You have a clear message, you have a clear goal in mind, and clarity produces results. Now, the second thing that I wanted to touch on is something that you spoke about in the very beginning, which were these quote unquote marketing gurus that you paid a lot of money to work with, to come to realize that none of it worked. And, like me, we figured out a way to do it ourselves to produce the results that we were looking for. Now, there's two things that we can talk about with that. Well, number one, I want to hear exactly what you felt was lacking in these quote unquote experts that you were able to uncover yourself that maybe could help a lot of people before they spend that money on someone that quote unquote is that guru. But number two, how important was it for you to not let those negative experiences of spending the money, not making the money back, but to continue moving forward to find a way? Because you and I both know that buyer's remorse is real. And you have those people that they say they want to do something. I've spent $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 on programs that didn't do shit. And I didn't let that stop me. I continued moving forward. So those two questions, number one, what were those things that you saw those marketers doing wrong that you ended up doing right? And how important was it for you not to let the buyer's remorse take control so you can continue to figure out how to become successful?
Gotcha. So the first question, one thing that I have learned from experience, and even those on both sides. So my experience as a marketer and my experience as someone who's trying to learn marketing, your messaging is key, right? And so I think the biggest issue that I had with the initial investments that I made in some of those guys or some of those companies was their messaging spoke to me in terms of helping me get more clients, helping me increase my revenue, profits, et cetera, et cetera. And so, of course, that's what I wanted, right? So they spoke to my wants. But I think a major component that was left out is making sure that they've identified who their target customer is. So when I first started, of course, I'm just getting started. So I don't know a whole lot. I don't have a team in place. My understanding of the technology isn't, is at a novice type level. And yet, because they didn't specifically filter in their messaging to say who this is for, who this is not for, they basically kind of, gobbled us all up kind of in a herd kind of, group coaching program mentality. And then once you're in the program, you're looking around and you're going, hey, I'm not ready or I'm not at this level for this particular program. But like you said, now buyer's remorse sets in because hell, it's too late. I've already made the investment. So I got to now try to figure out how can I maximize this particular, program, get the most value, out of this particular program that I can, and still continue to move forward, which takes me to your second question. My why, man. My why is what doesn't allow me to become discouraged. So for our particular company, and you can kind of see some of the sticky notes up on the board behind me, our particular company, our major mission, and the social cause behind it is reducing veteran homeless and suicide rates. And so because that's our mission, at my core, there are too many veterans out there who need me to succeed. They're depending on me to be able to get the results that we need so that we can create job opportunities for them, so that they can sustain their lives. And I'm not just talking about paying the rent. I'm literally talking about so that they don't put a gun in their mouth and kill themselves, right? Or slow death through drugs and alcohol and things of that nature. So my why, man, is what kept me going. And again, we still make investments today that we sometimes look and go, hey, that one was a smart one, and that one, wasn't a great one, but we keep pressing forward.
Well, I think that's just a testament to you and how you show up every day. And, there's always, and that's the thing when when we get into business, from outside looking in, people say, oh, they just want to make money. They just want to be rich. They just want the nice house and the cars. But, there's always a deep rooted mission. Why? The reason why I do what I do is, the industry that I came from, number one, health and wellness, but number two, network marketing, is I talk to too many people in network marketing that are not making money. And I was making money and I still am. And it hurt me to my core to see all these people spending all this money every month on their products and going to the corporate events and taking time away from their family and their loved ones to build this business and not have it go anywhere. And it wasn't because they're doing anything wrong. They just were forgetting about the most important piece, and that's creating connection. It's create, whether it's through an email funnel, whether it's through a sequence, whether it's through a social media platform, you have to create that connection with your audience. And the larger of a network that you can grow, the larger of a net worth you can create. So why I do what I do is because I want to show people that they can make money, that they were not born for mediocrity. No one wakes up and says, you know what? I want to live a mediocre life. No, no one, no one says that. Everybody wants to live the most abundant life. So I do what I do to make people realize that there's other ways and give them hope that there are other ways. And coaches like you and I, when that why is strong, and again, that's my business why. We have personal whys too. My
Absolutely.
son,
Yep.
my future wife, like it's all that. But when your why is strong, you're always going to look for other ways to move and advance yourself forward. So I people always see the good, but they don't know some of the bad that created the good.
Right.
So two questions. Well, number one, what was the worst investment that you made and why?
Gotcha. Um, well, I won't say any of them have been bad investments, and here's why. There's a lesson learned in each one. All right. So there's one. The one that I guess initially comes to mind is a marketing coach. Invested in his products and services, probably about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years ago now. And one of the statements that he made during a group coaching session where he was actually, teaching us marketing, is that people are sheep. And now, in the context of teaching us marketing, that touched me in a negative way. And it touched me in a negative way because I had to say, well, if you think generally that people are sheep, then that means that's what you think about me. And so if that's what you think about me, it's difficult for me to accept you as my leader and or my guide moving forward. So that's one experience that I've had, as far as I would say, that investment. Looking back on it, I kind of, if I would have known then what I know now, I wouldn't have pulled the trigger on it. Um, However, there was still a ton of value that came from it, not just one because of the information, the training materials that I did gain access to, some of the templates, checklists, things of that nature. So I was still able to take away some value from it. But just that particular exchange where he presented himself to be someone who thinks that people are sheep. Now, there are some people who just who do blindly follow and just kind of go along with the way status quo, and again, I'm guilty, guys. So anybody that's listening, I don't want you to think that, you know, I came out of the womb with these independent thoughts and my own vision and way of going about doing life. So let me make sure I put that caveat out there. But there are some people, unfortunately, who still, you know, blindly follow. And so because we understand that, I think we have a responsibility, one, as human beings, as leaders and human beings, but as business owners, especially if you're a coach, consultant, or service-based business owner, you have a responsibility to help your people get from where they are to where they want to be. And ultimately, you have the responsibility to help them become as good as, if not a better leader than you are. And so, for me, if anybody who's out there listening, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're, you know, wondering, you know, should I pull the trigger? Should I not pull the trigger? I tell you, do your due diligence, of course, but make sure that whomever you're getting ready, whether it's myself, Scott, whomever, make sure you can understand, like, hey, is this the person, the leader? Do they have what it takes to help me get from where I am to where I want to be?
I love that. And again, there, you know, I was on a podcast called The Bad Client Experience,
Mm,
where you had to share some of your horrible client experiences. And I said, you know, I never really had a bad client experience. I had a lesson learned
hmm.
from a client that ended up not being a good fit. Just like you stated, there is no bad investment. It's just a lesson learned from that,
Right,
because
right,
you know your failures open the doors to your successes. So sometimes you have to learn a failure to actually learn how to succeed. So
right.
that was beautifully stated. Now, my second question, with such a diverse background, and I'm going to go back to your military background,
Okay.
being in the Air Force for nearly 2 decades, what would you say was the most impactful habit that you learned being in the Air Force that basically became part of your DNA that you were able to now instill into your business that you're using now, that's attributed to your success?
Um, the importance of, you know, daily rituals, habits, routines. The military, I tell people quite often, man, from day one, right? Day 0001 of your military training. And I don't care if you go in as an officer or a member of the enlisted group, you're immersed immediately into structure, discipline, teamwork, leadership. I mean, it's just, we're indoctrinated with it, right? And so, I literally had a conversation with a veteran a few hours ago. And he's getting ready to transition out, and we were just kind of talking about, you know, what the value that he brings to the marketplace. You know, some of the habits that, you know, I recommend that he keep, and then of course some of the habits that I think he should just kind of, you know, dump, because there are some things about the military culture that I do think that the civilian society can benefit from, and you as a military member can, you know, bring to the table. But then there are also some things we have to dump, right? Being so structured, being so rigid, being so, you know, black and white, right? Because the world is full of nuance and tons of gray areas. But I would definitely say, the ability to remain disciplined in your habits and your routines. So whether that is, you know, and I'm not recommending anybody get up at 4 a.m., right? If 4 a.m. is your magic time and you get up early and you get more done before everyone else wakes up in the world, you know, attaboy, congratulations, way to go, right? But whatever time you get up, it needs to be the same time every single day, so that you basically set your body into a rhythm to where it doesn't matter where you are on the planet, you're always operating at peak performance, right? And so whatever your routine is, right? So for me, the initial thing that I like to do is get up and do some form of exercise, right? Whether that's just going for a walk, hopping on my bike, because right now my apartment complex, the gym is closed, so I can't go and lift weights, but still get up and do some form of physical activity, right? Followed by a healthy breakfast. And what I mean by healthy is that is just nothing but fruits. right? I get eggs are good, bacon tastes delicious, but no, stick with some type of fruit before 12. And it's just little things. So even reading, right? So one of the things that I ensure that I do every single day, sometimes throughout the course of the day, depending on how my schedule looks, but mandatory every single morning. And when I wake up after working out, and then before going to bed at night, I'm going to read a chapter in whatever book that I'm reading. And then, of course, having some structure around your day, right? Your calendar. I do my best not to allow anything in before 9 a.m., right? In terms of outside appointments and meetings and things of that nature. And I do my best not to allow anything to come in after 3 p.m. And the reason why I do that is because you still need that productivity time on the front end and the back end of your day to make sure you can get some things done. So the one thing that, again, I know that was kind of a long-winded answer, but I wanted to make sure people understood how to put it together as well. Discipline in your habits and in your routines. If you can maintain that discipline, I promise you, your results will be phenomenal, and you'll be able to get more done in a 7-day period than some people get done in 3 months.
I couldn't agree more. And I always go back to my personal training days. And when I did some amateur bodybuilding, you create the body that you create because of habits and consistency. You don't go to the gym once and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's just, but there's so many facets to it. Like people don't understand when, to look the way that I used to. I mean, I still keep in great shape, but when I was competing,
Right.
there was structure to everything that I did. There was structure to my sleep. There
Mm-hmm.
was structure to my water intake. There
Mm-hmm.
was structure to my nutrition, structure to my workouts. So that's the thing. If you don't create those habits, you can't create the compounded effect to take place.
Mm-hmm.
And the saying, the way that you do one thing is the way that you do everything. And like you, my wife and I, we get up at 6 o'clock every morning, and we have a strict routine. I get ready first, and she likes kind of a soft wake up. So
Gotcha.
she calls me the captain in the morning. So I start to nudge her, around 6:30, and she gets up, and then I go and I feed the fish, and then feed the dogs, and then we take the dogs for a walk, and then we go down to the basement, and we work out from home now. So that's shifted. And then we come upstairs, we make breakfast, we have coffee, and like that. I have the same breakfast every single day. It doesn't sway. And like you, I don't do anything business wise before 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I don't get overwhelmed, because I know the first 4 hours of my day is me.
They're mine. Yep.
It's no one takes it. And you compound that over a 5-day work week, that's 20 extra hours a week that are mine. Now, also like you, I don't do anything typically after 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, I typically cut it off. That's dinner time for
Mm-hmm.
Nancy and I, and then we float into our evening routine.
Yep.
And it's, again, overwhelm and anxiety and all those things can be prevented if people were just a little bit more organized and structured with their day. And you don't have to, like, I wasn't in the military to get structured.
Right.
I started living a healthy lifestyle. People can create structure tomorrow or today, and you have to create that schedule. But what I've learned is that people are too laxed with their schedule. They start breaking it. You know what? I'm not supposed to start till 10. I'll take this call at 9:30. Once you break your own rule,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to see the complexity of what you're wanting to create start to go out the window, because you're giving yourself too much leeway. And it's not being stringent, but it's protecting your time. Your
Right.
time is the most valuable commodity that we all have. So Jay, tell everyone what your company does now, because you help businesses, you help consultants, you help companies. What's the ideal client for you, and what problem are they coming to you with that they are looking to have solved?
Gotcha. So we help small to medium-sized businesses who want to break free of busy work so that they can operate more efficiently and increase their revenue by 25 to 30% per month. And that's through helping them develop systems, either develop systems or improve their current systems and processes through digital marketing, sales systems, and even onboarding systems for both their clients and their new team members. Um, Ideally, we would like to work with people who at least have a virtual assistant, at least at a minimum, because of course the systems that we implement, it requires a team effort. You can still be what's known as a micro, preneur, and still be able to get results. So ideally, you either have to be ready to bring on that initial first team member, and I'll tell you guys as well, that virtual assistant doesn't have to be, geographically located within your city or even your country. There are some people who are from India or even the Philippines who are very highly educated, have great command of the English language, and they can do a phenomenal job. I'm telling you from experience. But ideally, we would like to have you at least have one team member who can, help you carry the load, and you're ready to grow and scale and go to the next level.
Awesome. And what's the best way for people to find out about you, your company, your business, and the services that you guys provide?
Gotcha. So if you're interested, just go to handsfreebusinesssystem.com. Regular HANDSFREEBUSINESSSYSTEM.com. There's a free training, basically a case study training that we've created so that you can really understand what the hands-free business system is all about. We even break it down into the STS system. We talk about the skills that you need to have as a business owner to operate a successful business. We talk about the T, which is your team. Of course, helping you, put a team together and making sure that you have the best talent on your team. And then the final S, we talk to you about a strategy, right? Some strategies around how you can get capital if you need that to scale your business. But most importantly, we want to show you how to develop your own internal strategy so that you can get the results you want for your business.
Love it. And all of that information, guys, is going to be in the show notes. So I highly encourage you, even if it's just following Jay on LinkedIn. He provides such value, and that's what you want a business coach to do, is to, put value and content out there that's expecting nothing back in return, just to leave people better. And that's what exactly Jay does every single day. So thank you for that. Number one. Number two, final question before we sign off. Jay, what does success truly mean to you?
Wow. um, it is the process of seeing your goal, dream, or vision manifest itself. And it truly is. There is no end game, there is no destination, there is no final, right? It is the process. It's a lifelong process of you growing and becoming the person who can actually achieve your goals. So that's my definition of success, brother.
I love that. The teacher is always the student. When you think you know everything, you actually know nothing. So it's actually just continuing to grow every single day. And I love that definition of success. So, Jay, thank you again so much for being here today. Grateful for you and your connection. And thank you for everything that you shared with the audience today.
Hey, Scott, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Look forward to doing it again one day.
Absolutely. So guys, again, all the information of how to find out about Jay and what he can do for you and your business is going to be in the show notes. So again, take a screenshot of wherever you're listening to this from, share it on social, tag us, leave us what your aha moments and big takeaways were. And I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you again so much for checking out this week's episode. And if you can, head over to iTunes, search for Network Marketing Made Simple, leave me a 5-star rating, basic review. I would be grateful for all of the support you guys can give me. And again, if you'd be interested in learning more how to utilize LinkedIn to grow your business, your brand, and your bank account, head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net. Fill out the form for your free 15-minute discovery call so I can learn more about you, your business, and how we can work together. And again, thank you guys so much. Grateful for you all, and I'll see you next time.